Welcome back to Cowboys Talk with L Dub. So, Cowboys Nation, the game did not go the way we thought it would go. A little disappointing. Couple things I want to talk about. There's a lot of blame to go everywhere. This game, our defense decided to not show up for a complete game. Our back end got exposed. And then I don't know what Matt Eberflus was doing too, because he was not pressuring golf that much in the game. I've been paying attention to a lot of the Detroit Lions games recently, especially the losses. Jared Goff was running for his life in those games against the Packers. Both games against the Packers, they kept coming at him. And he could not handle the pressure. I watched the Philly game when Philly played him. Same thing. Philly kept pressuring him, and he could not handle it. Excuse me. And he could not handle it. And I'm trying to figure out, why didn't we stick to that same blueprint as well, and kind of help out our back end? Because DeRon Bland was out there getting done dirty. The way Gibbs had him on skates last night, it was ridiculous. And then even St. Brown had him on skates. And he was realistically playing on one leg. So, me personally, I think the Matt Eberflus experiment is done, at least for me. I would like us to go get a defensive coordinator that we have, at least on the front 4-5, great pieces that we can build off of, and get a defensive coordinator in here that can work with that and do something with it. Because there was, to me, a lack of adjustment on the defensive side of the ball. Then let's talk about special teams. Because I don't know if y'all paid attention to it like I did, but Detroit kept starting their drives at the 50 or on their own 45-yard line. And whenever we received the kickoff, Turpin with this tiptoe nonsense, or I'm going to wait and see if I find a crease, just get the ball and run. And we're starting off at the 20, 25. Excuse me. And then, Lord forbid, we get a penalty. Because I swear, on every punt, kickoff return, we're getting a penalty. And we starting our drive from the 10, 5-yard line. And I'm like, come on, man. We cannot keep shooting ourselves in the foot. And then the interceptions, I'm not putting those interceptions on Dak. The receivers got to catch the ball. If it hits your hand, you got to catch it. At least that's what I was taught ever since playing Pee-wee football. If it hits your hand, you got to catch it. And these passes are popping up in the air, and he's getting and returning the ball over. Because even as bad as our offense was playing in the first half, I said, well, if we get the ball back in the second half and we drive down the field and we at least get a touchdown, we get back in the game. And then when we turn the ball over, and then they turn that into points too. So in turnovers, they turn those into 14 points. And that, to me, overall ended up being a difference maker in the game. Because once in the second half, when Shotty made his adjustments and we were able to start putting drives together, and also we were able to finally score touchdowns in the second half. And we were starting to see a little bit of momentum swing. But then when the defense got back on the field, they could not get off the field. And it was like when we needed those key third down stops, the Lions kept getting it. They kept getting it. And Gibbs, as shifty as he is, I knew, like, the two-headed monsters, Montgomery and Gibbs. And really, realistically, other than that run that Montgomery got, he really didn't even see the game. He didn't play that much in the game until at the end, when they just wanted to pound the rock and try to wear it on our defense. But like I said, there was a lot of blame to go around. I just don't understand why we were playing so conservative as far as on offense. And then we were going for it on fourth down in other games. And then this game, in the first half, we decided to not go for it and just take the points. And I was like, we get to a point in this game where we need to turn these threes into 7. And which, like I said, ended up being the difference maker in this game. Like, hey, don't get me wrong, Brandon Aubrey, that dude is the greatest kicker in the NFL right now. But we needed to score touchdowns and not field goals. And then you can kind of see what team wanted it more last night too. Because remember my last video, I said momentum and who wants it more. And clearly, Detroit Lions wanted it more than we did. I'm not going to put the game on that one call. Granted, that call, had we scored on that drive, a touchdown on that drive, it could have changed the game. But then seeing what our defense did right after that, I don't think it would have changed the game because our defense could not get off the field for whatever reason. They couldn't get off the field. And I don't know, maybe because we were without Jadeveon Clowney, but I'm not trying to make no excuses because Detroit Lions were without a lot of folks too. And I know some of you may say, well, CeeDee Lamb went out in the game, but we were looking the same way we looked with CeeDee Lamb playing in the game. So I'm not going to use that as an excuse neither. At the end of the day, they did not want it more than the Detroit Lions did. And then a couple plays I saw George Pickens on some of his routes. It's just like they were, for whatever reason, it felt like they were off. They were off. But I'm looking forward to seeing how they finish out the season. That, for me, that'll tell me a little bit more about this year's team in this regime. Because in years past, if this was the Mike McCarthy-led Cowboys, we saw what happened last year when we played that same Detroit Lions team, and we got the brakes beat off us last season. I thought that was kind of the road we were going down last night. But after halftime, you saw the fight, you saw the grit, and that's the one thing I don't think we've seen in this team in a long time. So even if we don't make the playoff this year, which we're leaning closer to the not making the playoff, but I want to see how they finish out the season and kind of give us as Cowboys Nation some kind of hope and stepping into the right direction and seeing what Shotty's going to do with his coaching staff. If he's planning on making any moves, because realistically, Matt Eberflus is not a Brian Schottenheimer hire. This is a Jerry Jones hire. So I want to see if that's a change that we make in the offseason, because I don't like that he does not adjust to what the other teams are doing. I watched the Detroit Lions defensive coordinator. That dude was adjusting to what we were doing. And it seemed like once CeeDee Lamb went out of the game, it's like, now we back to when we played them last year, when we had only CeeDee Lamb. Oh, now we can just double him, take him away from you. Now what you going to do? Now, granted, Flournoy, he started getting it going, and then that busted coverage when he was wide open. But I'm interested to see how we finish out the season. Tell me a lot about this team. Do we just pack it up now because the likelihood of us making the playoff is slim to none, or we go ahead and win these next 4 games and then let the chips fall where they may, and then pray and hope for some help from some other teams? But like I said, I want to see what these guys are going to do, and I don't know if you all heard or seen the comments that Richard Sherman made about GP. I understand what he was trying to say, but I don't think he quit on the team. And then, I mean, at the end of the day, he had a bad game, and that's the way I'll chalk it up as that. He had a bad game. Like, you're not gonna have. It's been other superstar wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs that have had bad games. Do we say that they disappeared? No, they just had a bad game. Now, this becomes a consistent thing, then I'll give you that. But you got GP, this dude is second in receiving yards in the NFL. And him now we're saying that he's a quitter. So yeah, Richard Sherman can miss me with that nonsense and that rhetoric, because I'm like, okay, y'all wait till this dude had one bad game, and now all of a sudden he disappeared and he quit on the team and all this other nonsense. Like, nah, miss me with that nonsense. But I'd like to hear from you all. Let me know what you all think in the comments. And remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and follow. And remember, win, lose, or draw, it's about that star. Peace.